thoughts? After some rebounding problems against Kansas, that seemed better. More pleased with this effort tonight?
I think we got a long way to go, Greg. We just we're not consistent enough. We get up to 13 or 14, and then all of a sudden it's 6 again because we didn't get a rebound. They got a second shot, or we fumbled a ball, or we just got to be more consistent.
Ryan Pritt, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, obviously one of the big goals heading in here, he talked about it all week, was getting some of these younger guys some time. That seemed like you got some of that done late. Did you get as many minutes for them as you wanted, and what were your thoughts about them when they were on the floor late?
Well, they didn't pass the ball. It was kind of like open gym. It was whoever got it shot it, which was not what we were looking for. We were looking for them to continue running offense and continue taking good shots. We got to pass the ball. We just don't pass the ball. We don't pass it well, and we don't pass it often enough.
Charles Montgomery.
Coach, going off the last question about getting the young guys time, is there, when you go into these final non-conference games, is there maybe some hope that if there's a fringe player out of a freshman class that you can get him time enough to where you're confident with him going into conference play, or do you kind of just go at it and see who does what to going into conference games?
No, we have them every day in practice, so we know what we're going to get from them. And generally speaking, playing against, for instance, an Emmett Matthews, who's in his third year here, knows what he's doing, or playing against a Derek Culver, who's in his third year here and ought to know what he's doing. It does him a whole lot more good than it does playing against somebody else.
Skylar Callahan.
Hey, Coach, I know you've talked a little bit about Kedrian before, and today was kind of the first time we've really seen him in a more expanded time. What did you think of him today, and how he can help this team moving forward?
Well, he's a talented guy. He's our fastest guy. He's got really good lateral quickness. It's just a matter of Deuce's had a pretty good career here to this point, and Jordan's had a pretty good career here to this point. And he's competing with those two guys who obviously know what needs done a lot more than what Kedrian does at this point. But with what's going on, this is basically a free year. So what would normally happen is he would have 1 year left. Well, but now he has 2 years left. So we're going to keep working with him, and he may at the end or towards when we start getting into conference play, and with all the travel and everything else, he could be a really good guy for us. That he just gotta learn, what we need done, like those two guys have.
Cody Nesper.
Hey, Coach, just wondering if there's an update on Isaiah.
We won't know until the morning. We should know fairly early in the morning.
Next is Kevin Kinder.
Coach, following up on your newcomers and getting them in, outside of like stat numbers, points, rebounds, what are the things that you're looking from them? I know you mentioned passing. Anything specific for one or two guys, or a general overall thought?
How about make a shot? I think that would help. We're 2 for 21 from 3, and we came into the year thinking that was the one area that we certainly fixed with Taz and with Sean and Emmett's shooting the ball better. Jordan has shot the ball really well, and then he goes 0 for 5 today, but he has shot the ball really well. We felt really comfortable with a bunch of guys being able to step out there and shoot. Obviously, Isaiah could step out there and shoot it, which really spreads the floor. JB was struggling, you know, and he the last week or so, he shot the ball really well, and then we come out and go 2 for 21.
Go ahead, Greg.
Coach, more on Isaiah, and obviously the tough part of his, injury is it looked like he was starting to play a lot that first half. He was sort of part of your rotation. Is that fair that you were trying to get him some minutes, and a lot of minutes, quality minutes in this game and in the future?
Well, he gives us what we didn't have with Derek and Oscar. I mean, he's a big who can spread the floor. He can step out, make threes. He passes the ball well out there. He handles the ball well out there. Those two guys are the other two guys are more block guys that we're going to throw it close to, and he's a guy who could spread the floor.
Ryan.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned Oscar and Derek, 30 and 19 out of those two guys today. Obviously, the road's going to get a little bit tougher here as we move in the next couple of weeks. But was that good to see out of them? And is that what you're kind of expecting to see out of them as we move forward?
Well, I'd be gravely disappointed if I didn't see that out of them. They're two talented guys. I think Derek's come a long way offensively. Oscar has struggled a little bit early, but I think he's starting to come out of it from an offensive standpoint. And, we've got to be able to, if you go 2 for 21 from 3, you better be able to throw it close.
Justin Jackson.
Coach, I know you've, gone the other way when I've asked these kind of questions about career wins in the past, but your next win is we number 300 at West Virginia. Obviously, you're in the middle of the season. You got other things to worry about, but the fact that it is at West Virginia, will it, hold any special meaning for you at all?
Justin, Tony mentioned that on the post-game show. I had absolutely no idea. I don't look at those kind of things. My responsibility is to those guys in the locker room and trying to make them better and have them achieve their goals. I just don't. I guess I never have. I don't know why. I don't pay attention to it, but I don't. And I'd be lying if I told you I did. It's been great being home. I think that's the, for a kid who was running, through Deckers Creek and Doug Hill, in my early days, and then having an opportunity to come here and play in this building. It's great to be back. And I remember the press conference when, Eddie went through all the coaches and all of us, that was when Rich was here, and of course Mike Carey's a Clarksburg guy, and Eddie's a West Virginia guy. And I mean, we had a whole room full of West Virginia people, which is, that's home, man. That's I never growing up, and I spent a lot of time in Ohio, and my parents obviously spent a lot of time in Ohio. I never heard them ever say anybody mentioned West Virginia. It was home. It was home. And my dad sending me up on the antenna tower to turn the antenna towards Wheeling Steubenville so we could pick up West Virginia games. So, it's obviously very near and dear to me. But I came here to try to do the best job I possibly could, elevate this program to national status, and do what I could do to help with the facilities that we didn't have. The place was exactly the same as it was when I left here, and we certainly needed to uplift things and make it better, and give guys an opportunity to do and be what they can be, and I think we've done that.
Mike Kazaza.
Hey, Bob, how are you?
I'm good, Mike.
Good. Jalen didn't play last game. You mentioned he struggled, but he's back out there today. He made some shots in practice. You sound like you also saw him around the rim a little bit more, and I think he played some of your four at times in the second half, and maybe because Isaiah wasn't there. If he can't, if Isaiah's out for a while, or if maybe Jalen keeps us going, can he do something like that with a little bit of positional flexibility for you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I kept waiting for JB to kind of break out of it, this year. At the end of last year, he was playing as well as anybody was. He was offensive rebounding the ball really well. He was rebounding defensively, and he was really making shots. I mean, I thought coming in that if he carried the same thing in that he ended with a year ago, he'd be hard to keep out of the lineup. And I think he will. I mean, he's a great kid. He's wants to do the right thing. Maybe sometimes you want to do the right thing too much, and you maybe put a little more pressure on yourself than what you need to.
And we'll finish up with Cody Nesper.
Oscar told us that he's been thinking too much this year, and I was just wondering, as a coach, what can you do to help a guy that's thinking too much?
As I told Oscar, I'm gonna continue to be on his behind until he does what he's supposed to do, or what we and he expect to do. And it's it's been the same way with Derek. And I think if you ask around, people are amazed at how far Derek's come. But Derek's come because he's put his mind to it, and he's worked at it, and he's worked at it on a daily basis. And Oscar had a rough summer. I mean, he was anything but the Oscar who was supposed to get 12, 15 rebounds a game. And I think he understands that now. I think he understands he spent too much time touring the state of West Virginia and not enough time, which is nothing wrong with, by the way. But you gotta put time in your craft. If you don't work at your craft, you're not gonna be very good at it.
Coach, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And thank you, everyone. We will talk to you next time.